Hey guys, it's Stephen here for the second video of today. I really am spoiling you. If you haven't already, go and check out my transfer target video that I put out a couple of hours ago. It's Ravi Matondo and Antti Palaversi. One in, one out in terms of Wonder Kids, which is very Manchester City these days, I guess. But go and check that out anyway. I discussed those two potential transfers in further detail. Both look very, very close. But today I'm going to talk about the Newcastle game tomorrow, because it's going to be a very fascinating game. Hopefully one that we should be able to win. But it's never that simple, obviously, in Manchester City, but fingers crossed we will get there. Also, as well, later on, we have got a Newcastle fan, Lee, from Newcastle Fan TV, talking about his chances, his team's chances in the game tomorrow. Obviously, he's having a tough time at the moment, given the Ashley stuff and all the kind of mess around Newcastle, but it'd be good to get his thoughts on the game, so stay tuned for later on. But this game is kind of an important one, because it kicks off a run of games which could be crucial to our season, really. We've got Newcastle, obviously, tomorrow, then we've also got Arsenal at the weekend, then after that, Everton midweek, and then Chelsea as well. These four games could go a long way in telling us how we're going to fare this season. Liverpool as well are playing after us for a change, which makes a difference these days. It tends to be that Liverpool go first and then we have to chase them. We get a chance tomorrow to close that gap and then put the pressure on Liverpool to go and win a game for ages, and they've got Leicester, which isn't an easy game. So fingers crossed, if we had a little bit of pressure, they could actually slip up there potentially. And in theory, we should be able to get something tomorrow. Newcastle are largely struggling. They're struggling to score goals as well. And this is a game that in theory we should be winning as well. Newcastle as a club at the moment are largely kind of lost at sea. I think their own fans would admit that. I'm sure Lee will admit that later on as well. And they're kind of a mess with the infighting between like Rafa, Benitez and Mike Ashley, embarrassing the club constantly. And Newcastle fans are hugely restless and they're struggling down near the bottom of the league at the moment. They're also struggling to score goals. So given that, and given the fact they've got a few key players out, this is a game that really we should be winning, and winning by some way, given everything. And going on to the team news as well, essentially pretty much everyone's there apart from Vincent Kompany. Now obviously there was some concerns about Mendy given the fact that he sat out the last game, but Pep did say that was just down to some kind of swelling and it was a routine thing post-injury where players get a little bit of swelling again. But apparently, according to Pep in the press conference, that is now cleared and he's ready for action again. So I suspect we might see him on the bench, which would be nice. I can't see him starting personally. We'll get into that later, but that feels a little bit a step too far. But other than that, Vincent Kompany's still out, not quite ready yet. And then everyone else is there. We've got a full squad now. We've got a strong squad. We've got players that can be rotated. We've got enough to really do some damage. It's a team full of options. It's a squad full of options, and we don't know who's going to be left out. But on to the actual prediction for the team. Well, now the way I'm going to see it, obviously, is Ederson's going to start in goal. I think Kyle Walker once again will start a right back. He was okay the other day. He actually got forward a little bit more than we're used to seeing against Burnley. Some nice overlapping. The past year or so, he's been quite cautious about getting forward. Not like the player we saw at Spurs. I think that's by directions personally, because there's no reason why he wouldn't do that, because that's part of his instincts. But he had a good game the other day, apart from his one small brain fart at the start of the game. But he was good. I can also see Danilo carrying on at left back. That makes a lot of sense, given the fact that once again, he's playing well. He is actually genuinely playing well. It wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility to see Delph start left back, but I think he will with Danilo, and rightfully so. He's not played loads of football this season, so there I can see him you can see him starting again and doing hopefully pretty well. At centre back, Kompany's not there, so it's going to be one of the three of Laporte, Otamendi and Stones. Sorry, two of the three. Laporte's going to start, and personally, I think he might play Stones again. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he played Otamendi. I'm going to say Otamendi because Otamendi would like the physical battle against someone like Ron does. So I'm going to say Laporte and Otamendi as a centre-back pairing because they like that physicality. And Fernandinho, I think, will play again as well. Fernandinho, apparently, according to Pep the other day, played against Burnley because he needs rhythm, because he's had a few games out now, and also because Burnley offered a bit of a physical threat at set pieces, which interestingly does kind of feed into this. Whoever we're going to get at number 6 has to be physical in the air, which is an important part of the role for Manchester City. Fernandinho brings a physical presence that I think Newcastle will look to try and exploit as well. So I think Fernandinho will start this game in midfield, and then I can see David Silva coming back into the team in place of Ilkay Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne I think will start this game because he was fantastic the other day, and he needs these games as well. He needs this constant rhythm to get back to his best. And the other day, as I mentioned in my 5 things learned from the Huddersfield video, go watch that. Sorry, Burnley, even not Huddersfield, the Burnley game. I thought De Bruyne was back something close to his best. He was absolutely excellent, involved in goals, scoring a goal, and generally his vision and his weight of pass seemed to be back as well. The first few games where he got back, he looked good, but his weight of pass wasn't quite there. Against Burnley, it was back and he was playing some beautiful through balls. So I think De Bruyne and David Silva and Fernandinho, our strongest midfield three, will start a Premier League game. How nice does that sound? I think we're long overdue seeing that, and I think it's going to happen. And honestly then, I can't see past once again Sterling and Sane as out wide. I think that's obviously going to happen. I think it's something that will need to happen. No, it could be Mahrez on the right. Mahrez could start there. He started on the left the other day and did okay, but I still think it'll be those two. And then I think Sergio Aguero will come back in because he just loves a goal against Newcastle. Newcastle. Aguero largely scores plenty of goals against Newcastle, as they know, and I'm sure they won't be happy to see him start again. Gabriel Jesus could deserve it, but I think he'll still get plenty of time. But I think it'll be Aguero for this one. But on to Newcastle. They're largely struggling at the moment. They lost to Watford. They did batter Burnley, but everyone batters Burnley these days. Actually, Burnley been in the right form, so that was a good result for them. And losing to Watford in the FA Cup's not the worst thing in the world, but they're down only 17th. They're struggling to score, and they're missing some key players. No John Joe Shelby, no Joselu, Ki Sung-young, Mohamed Diarmi, and apparently no Dummett as well. So basically some very key players for them, huge players. And this is going to be very difficult, but let's see what Lee thinks from Newcastle Fan TV.
Right, so the game tomorrow night. Look, it's doom and gloom at Newcastle at the moment because of a lot of off-field problems. Just want to talk about that dead quickly. We could have had your own, I believe it or not. It was either us or Manchester City. Just a shame you went to Manchester City for us. Obviously, you guys have had major success, and congratulations to that. A lot of years have been starved over the years. I remember years being at Main Road. I remember having a 3-3 draw at Main Road when Tino Asprilla elbowed Keith Curl in the face and headbutted him as well. So I remember all of those days. And these have been through the divisions as well. So these have suffered. And we've been suffering a long, long time. And I'm sick of it. It's very negative. It has been all year. We don't know what's going on with Rafa Benitez. I think he'll go. I think he'll stay at the end of the season, then he's off. We're trying to sign somebody who was injured the other day through Jordan Lukaku, Romelu's brother. That was a joke. Everyone knows about Mike Ashley. Please don't shop at Sports Direct. That's the one thing I will ask of Manchester City fans. Please don't. It's just very negative. He said that all the money would go back to Rafa for transfers, and it just hasn't happened. He's a liar. He's a convicted liar as well. He's lied in court and has been proven as a liar. Lots of negativity around the club at the moment. All the fans, you can feel my frustration. I'm not going to rant and rave. I've done that the other day. But we'll go Tuesday night. We'll be supporting the lads. We'll be cheering them on. How do I think we'll play? Again, it comes down to Mike Ashley because we haven't got squad and depth. We won't have Dummett, we won't have Shelby, which are two massive losses for us. It might not be for yous, but for us that's massive. That's like me taking away someone like David Silva and say Aguero out your team. I know they're in different positions, but that's what it's like for us. We have to rely on our first 11, our squad and depth. It just isn't strong enough. I think we will stay up, but going in on Tuesday, I think we'll literally be parked the bus. I'll be very surprised if Rafa comes out and tries to surprise you. The game at the Etihad was very close. It was 2-1. Obviously, I know we defended a lot. We scored a great goal through DeAndre Yedlin on the counter, and it took a Kyle Walker worldie to beat us. I just can't say anything other than a Newcastle defeat on Tuesday night. I think you will have probably 70% of the possession. It may take a while for you to break it down, but I think once the first goal goes in, it could end up being 2 or 3. I'm not optimistic at all. I'm sorry I'm being negative, but I'd rather be honest with yous. And I've got no hope. Got absolutely no hope. I grew up with Keegan. That was my first love. Les Ferdinand is my striker. It's sad how times have changed, hasn't it? And then, we had the lump with Kenny Dalglish and Ruud Gullit and so on. But then Bobby came in, put back in the Champions League, and we're a long, long way off that. And our aim, unfortunately, is to stay up. That's the ambition around here. Absolutely mad. It is crazy. Everyone loves the football up here, but we are suffocated. And I'm sorry I haven't talked much about the match, Stephen, but there's bigger things happening. And we've got a couple of days left on the deadline day. It's basically down to Rafa's future. If I don't get a couple of bodies in, he's off. And I think he will be in the summer. But switching back to the game, 3-0 win to use. I've got no hope. Absolutely none. If you want to pop over to our channel, please do. We've got loads of Newcastle content, and we'll be doing fan cams and everything afterwards. So if you want to see from a home side perspective, please do. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Oh, man. You got a feel for him. He looks so dejected. Lee, we know how he feels to be down at the bottom and struggling. We've been there, we've done that. I've certainly grew up watching football that way, seeing Manchester City struggle. And yeah, you were right. It could have been you guys having all this glory and all this success. I'm glad that it's us. If I'm not going to lie, I'm glad that we got the golden ticket, so to speak. But Newcastle are a very good club, a club to take seriously. We weren't that great against them in the Etihad early in the season. We did beat them 2-1 that day, but it was a Kyle Walker worldie that was the difference between the two teams in the end. end after Newcastle put a pretty spirited display. But I can understand Lee's pessimism there, because it's very tough to be a Newcastle fan at the moment. In my personal opinion, the Ashley stuff is an absolute mess, and Ashley is a shocking person. He really needs to get out of their club. He really needs to stop lying to Newcastle fans. And in general, that whole relationship is so sour that I can't believe it's gone on for this long. Surely you can find a seller for a club that big with that fan base as well. Regardless of what you think of Newcastle, you can't deny the heritage and the size of that club. The whole thing for them is an absolute mess. As a City fan, I hope we take advantage of that tomorrow. Can't deny that. I hope we go there and put in a scintillating performance. So on to my prediction. I keep these days trying to be really cautious with my predictions, because every time I want to say a big score, I get kind of nervous that it's going to blow up in my face. But I cannot see us not scoring a few goals. We tend to always win at St James's Park these days. I can see us going there, getting an early goal, and after that, the floodgates could open. I'm going to say 4-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet again, because Newcastle are struggling to score, though. Wouldn't be surprised if someone like Rondon did score a world. He has that in him to his game. But for this one, I think Pep will make sure the players are focused. I think Pep will go out there, name a very strong team. Our form and our squad size at the moment seems to be hitting just the right moments. We're scoring so many goals. We've not conceded in God knows how long. I can just see Sane being up for this. Sane in particular, I can see him having a quality game. David Silva pulling the strings, and De Bruyne probably scoring again as well. I'm going to go for 4-0 and it'd be an early goal. Then after that, pretty comfortable. That's Manchester City that we seem to be witnessing these days, and that should be enough for us in theory. Anyway, guys, that's just my view on the game. I want to know, obviously, in the comments below what you think the game's going to be like, what you think the score's going to be. Let me know your predictions, your lineups. Go and subscribe to Newcastle Fan TV as well. A good bunch of people making videos about the club that they love there, and fair play for them. And also, I also did a preview with them on their channel, so I'll try and link to that video as well on here right now. And go watch the Rafa Matondo anti-Palaversa transfer target from earlier on. Anyway, guys, I've been Stephen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. In a bit.